Okay, directors, in this video, we're going to go over how to use the email function. It's your admin right that's called newsletters, but it's primarily for sending out emails to your participants. And that's under here. Again, the menus you have are teams for managing teams, reports, running reports, schedules for updating scores, and then email for sending emails. So you'll primarily always go to bulk email when you're starting a new email. And this is the bulk email screen. And depending on who you want to email to, will kind of depend which group you select. So if you were going to email your entire program, then you would come down here and you could pick, let's say, for example, OLA volleyball. You could send an email to everybody that's registered for that program. You could send an email to all the people that are unallocated for a team or everybody that's allocated for a team. Usually we don't have a difference between those. Pretty much everybody that's registered at any point in time will be on a team. So you can always use the all function. So once you're ready to email them, just make sure that you select all for whatever program that might be. So we'll do that here, Arley assumption all, and you'll look down here in your groups, and they're the recipients. So that'll basically go out to everybody that's in that program. Um, if, for example, you made a mistake and you press another program that St. Peter Claver would show up here, you would want to go ahead and delete that by pressing the minus sign. So it'll go back to that. And then let's say, for example, you didn't want to email the entire program, but you just wanted to do the one division. You could go up here and you could select divisions, teams, volunteers, pretty much all the way down to custom groups or archived divisions. But primarily you would either email your divisions or your programs or your teams. So in this situation, I would have to scroll down to find out which one that I wanted. And they basically come in all the different varieties that we saw before, and they can be sorted by status. So that's usually sometimes an easier way. You can actually remove all the unallocated and allocated and just show the situation where it's showing all. That'll reduce down the number of options that you have to look through. So in this situation, I can go down and find the program that I'm looking for. Let's say in this instance, I just wanted to email the Christ the King 7th and 8th grade teams. I could just do that. And then they would show up down here. Christ the King, 7th and 8th grade team. That email will just go to that group of players. And then down here, you can actually put in your name, and then you'll always need to put in the reply to email address. So if you don't use your personal email address for sports, or you have a sports specific email address, you can put that in there. You're always welcome to send out emails in my name and then to info@catholicmetrosports.com. That's perfectly fine. I can handle any responses that you would get, but that's kind of an option up to you. And then you can add additional copies, CCs on there. So that's perfectly, as long as they have a comma or a semicolon in between the email addresses, you can add as many up there as you like for additional email addresses. And then you would type the subject, and then you can work down here on the content. I usually recommend in the content section to increase the size of the font to 24. It's much easier to read on a telephone, and that's usually how most people read their emails these days. So I always recommend using that larger font. And then you're just pretty easy. You can just go ahead and type whatever you need to down here. And then you can put in any images that you like. There is a restriction on image size, but if you wanted to add something, you could basically upload that here. It's a 200 KB limit for images, so just keep that in mind. Anything larger probably wouldn't work. You can also add attachments, which I have uploaded some different attachments that can be used to send out as well if you need to do that. We have some templates that are available. So if you wanted to change your template, there's a couple that are just kind of out of the box. There's a breaking news email template format, field closing, general announcement, and registrations. I tend to use the registration template the most. I don't really use any of the other ones. The registration one's nice if you're sending out a registration reminder for your parents. And when you do that, it'll ask you which program you're sending it out for. So in this situation, you unselect all, and then you would go down and select the ones you want. So let's say we're doing St. Jude soccer reminder. So we would just go down here and select all the different soccer divisions that are currently open and available for registration. Let's get the last one there. Press save. And then when you come down here, you would see that this is the format for the email. It basically automatically populates everything from your registration page. If you want to edit that, you can surely go ahead and do that, but you don't have to. So what I always do down at the end is it has a 555 phone number, so I delete that or I add my own number to the end of the email. And then up at the top, if it's a specific program that has a logo, I would change out the regular logo for one from that program. And again, you can upload those as long as they're under 200 KB for that file. Let's see here. St. Jude's logo is there. Can insert that. And sometimes if it shows up and it's too large, you just grab the corners and you can make it smaller. You can always change the title. Change the title there. Again, you can go up here. You would need to change the title as well. And then your reply to email address. You add that. Maybe change the name. This would be from Trish. And then we wouldn't want Christ the King. We want St. Jude. And in this situation, maybe I'm looking for parents from last season. So I would go to archive divisions, actually archive programs. And I would search down here for St. Jude. Let's see. So Jude Spring 2020. Okay. Assuming that we had people register for the prior season, all those email addresses for those spring program people would be in there. And then again, if I had another email list, I could put that in here.
One other thing I like to point out when you're formatting an email is using links. So anytime you have a link in an email, for this registration template, the links are automatically set up. So this link for Trish's email works, and this link for the registration site works. But let's say, for example, you wanted to add in another email address. To make sure that that email address is linked, you just need to copy it, keep it selected, go up to links right here, the globe with the link sign on it, and then you want to make sure that it's an email. So there's hyperlink, anchor, or email. And once you go to email, you'll see the text for the link, and above that the address. So you have to populate the address with the email address. So those two should be the same. And in this situation, it corrected me. So I'm going to fix that, make sure both are the same. And then when I press OK, it updates down here, and now that email address link works. Let's say I wanted to put another web link in there. Let's say, see our parish, let's say parish web page. And I wanted parish web page to be a link. So I would do the same thing, but let me go ahead and get a web link. We'll use St. Jude Jaguars down here. Okay, say we wanted to use their actual parish page. We'll copy that. We'll go back to our email. Oops, right here. And then go to the link And now we're doing a page hyperlink, and you'll see the link text is parish webpage, and then the URL will post there that we copied. Press OK, and now that shows up as a link down there. So that link is active. And then this link here, you can take a look at it. You just would go ahead and check it, and the link's automatically populated there. If you wanted to unlink something, you could just highlight that, and there's an unlink button that says remove link. Link, hyperlink manager, remove link, so we can remove that. Yeah, so you just have to make sure that those links are showing up correctly. Even when you copy and paste a email address into your email text, you still have to add it as a link, and you have to make sure that it is an email link. Link, and then email link, and that both of those match, and then you're all set.
So that would be it. Once I'm done, and I'm sure coming down to the end, you can schedule the email. So if you wanted to, you would go in here and press schedule. You'd pick a date and a time for that email, and you would go ahead and send it. Or you would go ahead and press send now. I'm not going to do that. Let me just delete out St. Jude list. Okay, so I think I've got everything there. So I'll go ahead and send that. If you wanted to, you can send a test one to yourself as well. So this one shows up now on my list, and this is usually the email statistics, which is available up here. So if you wanted to see past emails that have been sent, you just go down to email statistics. It'll pull up this screen, and you can see that there's some St. Jude emails that have been previously sent. And if you wanted to view those, you can view them here. And you'll see other programs' emails, anything that had been sent from our website, you'll be able to see. Okay, you can get the details for that just to double check. So let's see, details here. It was actually sent to one person and read by one person. And then you can show here details here. So she sent it out to 56 people in that program. There were 3 duplicates in there. Nobody unsubscribed. 53% and 44 people read the email. So you can do that basically for any email that's been sent out. And it's always good to just double check. Like the one that I just sent, I did only send it to myself, and it was sent to one person and it hasn't been read. If I go up to my email right now, let's see, my inbox, it's going to show up. Yeah, here's that email from Trish. Because I sent it, it does give me that the email was initiated. So down here, bulk email initiated to one recipient. And then the confirmation that it was sent to one recipient. And there it is. That's the actual email that was sent out. And then it'll be customized for that user, so their name would show up here. And if the user has 2 people in their account, so a spouse, they would show up, and they would show up as CC'd in here as well, so that the user would know that their spouse was copied on that email. So that's a nice thing about the email system. One key thing to note, if people are not getting emails or say that they didn't get an email, you can always check their email subscription right here. So if someone told you that they weren't getting an email address, you can go in here and search just to double check. Let me see here, we'll do my email. Search there. Yep, and I'm there, and it's primary email accepted, and I'm subscribed. If for any reason that I was unsubscribed, that would be the problem why I wasn't getting emails, so you could let the person know that they've unsubscribed. Once they unsubscribe from one email, it takes them out of our entire system, so they would have to be resubscribed. If you wanted to reactivate them, you could go into the unsubscribed emails just to reactivate them into the system. But yeah, that's kind of how that component works. So yeah, just always be aware of where your groups are and who you have your emails going to, just so that you're not, for any reason, Like maybe you would accidentally do all active users. If you do that, there's several thousand people in there, and you definitely wouldn't want to send that out to everybody. So just make sure that you're careful about who's in your groups there, and you know, make sure that you've got that set up before you do your email. Um, if you do work hard on a template and you want to save it, you can always save a template. You just have to provide it with a name, and then you can do emails from your templates by loading those later on using the template loader. Just select templates, and then your custom templates will show up down here if you needed those. I think that's about it for email. Again, if you have any questions about it, please always, you can always give me a call or send me a note and I can help you out. It's no problem. Thanks.